Coffee is not a date. Now, here's my take, and don't tussle in the comments because I tussle back. One is she was able to buy her own coffee in addition to other things. When we go to a coffee shop, we're typically there for a break and to catch up on some work. That's it. We're not there to chit chat. What I realize is a lot of us don't know how to date. And so when someone sets a boundary, we get offended. When someone has a standard, we have to go and explain to them why that standard doesn't make sense. Now, I want you to really think about this, because a lot of people in the comments, especially the men, were calling her out of her name. And a lot of times people don't know how to focus on the focus. And that's another topic for another day. For the people who saying that a coffee shop is a date and she set her standards high, here's the deal. You need to do an inventory of yourself. Why are my standards so low? Because I'm telling you now, you go on a date at a coffee shop, it's only going to go lower, especially if you're dating someone who feels like you're after their money and they don't have a lot of money. Because the people who have money and that are working and they have investment accounts and all of these other things, they're not thinking that this $10 or $15 spent at a coffee shop is going to be some amazing dates and I'm going to, know where we're going after this. So coffee is not a date. Learn how to date. Learn what it is that you like. And then what's the reason that you are trying to go on a date? Because you guys were upset in her comments and it really don't make sense, because none of you were the person who asked her on the coffee date. Very strange.
I think it's funny how she started off this video talking about how people don't know how to date. And then she went on to say things proving she's one of those people who don't know how to date, but yet she's out here giving advice. And so as a man who is married, happily married, think I found a woman who is definitely worth marrying and enjoying it. I'm going to speak from the perspective of someone who has found success. Unlike many of the people who run to the internet creating this content and they haven't found success. They're continuing to either go on first dates or not even really getting asked on any dates. They're just simply throwing their 2 cents in. And so as a guy who's been through it and now out the dating market because I got what I want, and that's the point, find what you want in the dating market and then get up out of there, unless you want to just be going on first date after first date after first date. And most people don't want that. It's a time waster. It becomes very repetitive after a while. And so a coffee date, a frozen custard date if you don't do coffee, a slice of pizza, whatever. Going to grab a slushie or at the juice bar. Even a lot of juice bars around nowadays. If you're more into your health, maybe you want to go grab a nice green juice. All of it is a date. All of it is just an opportunity for you to get to know that person and find out more. Going to a restaurant, sitting down, playing miniature golf, sitting doing painting, all this stuff, great, fine. But none of that is going to help you understand any more, any less, whether or not that person is cheap, whether or not that person got money, whether or not that person is a good person, whether or not that person is somebody who you're really authentically into. None of that is going to put you any closer than if you just sat down and had some ice cream, sat down and drank a coffee with them and talked. Matter of fact, I would argue that sitting down and just talking to that person for 45 minutes, an hour, rather than being preoccupied with games and activities would actually give you a clearer perspective of who they are, because now you can't hide behind distractions. You can't get caught up in the glamour of the event and the spectacle and getting swept up in it all, which sometimes women do. And sometimes that's what the guy's plan is from the very beginning, to wine and dine her because he knows the distractions will work to his favor. And that's something that women just tend to not understand, and why so many of them end up getting played, and why I laugh when it happens, because it's like they set themselves up for it. And I wouldn't have a problem. I don't care what your standard is. You want to have a standard and you say you don't like coffee dates, great, fine, fantastic, do you. But then to judge those who do accept it and say that their standards are somehow low for accepting it, that's a problem. You're no better than someone else who does or does not accept coffee dates because you have this standard where it's not what you're going to do. You just putting your value on what a man is willing to spend on you without even knowing you. And you think that actually makes sense because you're operating from a place of scarcity. And many women are too worried and they're scared that if a man actually had to sit down and just talk to them, that he realized really quick he don't want nothing to do with them. And that's a scary thing for a lot of women to actually have to just sit there and talk to somebody, talk to a man, get to know him, actually have to show interest in that man. You go to a dinner, you could get away with, how's your food? Oh, it's good. How's your food? What you think you can get away with small talk that really don't mean shit. And before you know it, food came out. Now you got food in your mouth. You can't talk really while you're eating. You're done eating. Dessert come, bill come, good night, see you later, and you never plan on seeing him again. You can't dodge that when it's just you sitting across from another person and learning about each other. You'll find out real quick if somebody can actually hold a conversation.
2 weeks ago, I was asking a coffee date, right? And he asked me like, hey, I want to meet you for coffee. Would you like to go to Starbucks or something more niche? And my response was, I don't drink Starbucks nor Dunkin'. However, there's a cute little spot that I like to go to that is a really good vibe. I sent him the link for the coffee shop / bakery. He was like, okay, I'll meet you there at this time. He was perfectly on time, all of the things. I got there a little bit early. They have this private room that you can reserve. And so I got the room. And then when I got there, he was like, did you get anything yet? I said, no. He's like, okay, let's go find what we're going to get. We got our pastries, we got our coffee. Had an amazing conversation. We probably talked for a good hour and a half. Then last week we went on another date. In between that, we have been talking on the phone. We have been texting, all of the things, like we're dating, right? I'm sharing that to say, depending on what your vibe is and what you like, coffee is actually perfect for me, okay? So Nish says, I feel like the coffee date would be fine if it's an authentic request and if real effort is put into it. So let's stop there. Number one, he asked me to go to coffee, which I'm completely fine, especially as a coffee drinker. The authentic request was that he wanted to see me in person and he wanted to get off the app. I consider that authentic, right? The second thing is he made a suggestion, but I know that I don't drink that, so I'm not going any place that I don't like, right? I'm just not going to do it. So yes, he made a suggestion, but I said, no, this is where I would prefer to go. And he was like, okay, right? And so I'm curious, when you say an authentic request or real effort, I think the effort has to be put in by both parties, right? And there's nothing wrong with the coffee date. Like, I think it's really dope that we can sit down in the middle of the day and we both have time in our schedule to meet at 11 in the morning or noon or whatever it was to get to know each other. And then we both can see if the energy and the vibe is right, that we want to see each other again. Hence we did. We went to lunch last week, right? The second part, you said your coffee date sounded delightful, but the majority of coffee dates I've heard about, they don't sound great or they suck or something like that, you said. And we got to stop listening to people, right? And even if what I'm sharing doesn't resonate with you, stop listening to me. Yes, my date was delightful. Yes, we're still connected. Yes, we're going on another date. Yes, we're going to see each other again. Yes, we're talking in between time. It is a beautiful connection. But if that's not your vibe to go on a coffee date, don't do it. I think the issue that I am noticing is that women or men, I don't know, maybe a mix of both, y'all placing the idea of how much money a man is going to spend on you, if that's a good date or not, versus what are your intentions around dating. And I do know that some women are just going out to get the free meals, to get the free trips. Listen, that's not my thing. I can take myself out on dates. I can take myself out on trips. I am not going on dates for a free meal, nor am I going on dates for a free cup of coffee. Because at the end of the day, this is also my time and my energy that I'm putting into it, and that matters. So I think the priority is, what is your intention around dating? Why are you going out on this date, right? And I think when we have to keep in mind that not only are you putting in effort, they're putting in effort too. And I think that that's going to make for a beautiful connection. Again, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know y'all feelings in the comments. This coffee discussion is really so tired and so old, and it's only the Black people that I see that's having a dispute about this, because it's like, if you like coffee, go to coffee. If you don't, go for a walk. If you want the 5-star restaurant, you want the trip, whatever you want, that's you. I'm having an amazing dating experience. I love it over here. And yeah.
I mean, listen, the women who get it, they get it. And the ones who don't, they probably never will. But anyway, guys, questions, comments, thoughts, and your feedback, go ahead and drop them down below. You know, I appreciate every time you guys chime in. Don't forget, you enjoy any part of the content, make sure you smash the like button. For more, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time.